A new report on Montserrat's renewable energy potential has been released and accepted by Cabinet. The report, produced by the Energy Task Force, a group set up by the Ministry of Communications, Works, Labour and Energy, says that the island can be 100% powered by green energy in the next decade. Cabinet has asked that the timeline set out by the task force be escalated. They want to see Montserrat fully renewable by 2030. Minister of Communications Dr. Samuel Joseph said there are social and economic reasons why this is needed.
We are part of a global community, and although we don't contribute anything or hardly anything to the climate change issue and global warming, we have to show our part. And we have a tendency as human beings to pass on responsibility to somebody else. So somebody else will change the problem. Somebody else will fix it, it's somebody else's responsibility. But we all live on this world and we all want to see a better world for our children.
The Energy Task Force report makes several recommendations on a way forward. The task force's recommendations include establishment of a committee to investigate possible models for allowing distributed energy systems on the national grid without adversely impacting the island's power company MUL and the lower-end ratepayers. The government of Montserrat and MUL should give special rate consideration for large consumers as a means of attracting direct foreign investment in Montserrat. Development of a comprehensive plan to address any inefficiencies that may exist within MUL to facilitate an acceptable electricity rate. The establishment of an independent and transparent electricity regulatory commission. The government must actively explore securing grant funding or a commitment for financing from FCDO towards financing a major renewable energy project. The report also offers data and recommendations on renewable energy options that Montserrat can consider. Director of Energy Kenrick Burke headed the task force for the government of Montserrat.
The peak demand for energy, electricity in Montserrat is about 2.3 megawatts, which is pretty small. We currently have roughly 1 megawatt of solar PV, 250 kilowatts on the rooftop, and then the 750 kilowatt system. I think one of the main things that we are trying to do is to improve the island's energy security, and that is critical. And to do so, we have to invest significantly in our indigenous resource. And we have basically three main sources of indigenous resource that we can actually capitalize on. That is solar. There was 2 wind turbines in St. George's Hill back in the 80s, and it shows that the island itself has potential for wind. The unit would have done some desktop analysis and looked at 6 different sites around the island where there was potential for installing wind farms. And based on what we've seen, there is what we call the capacity factor for wind on the island is very high. So there is a lot of high wind speeds and opportunity for generating using wind to generate electricity on the island. And the third resource which we have is the geothermal. Started back in terms of drilling back in 2014, where Mon 1 and Mon 2 was drilled. And from the work completion report, we saw that we had between 3 to 4 megawatts in total of potential for electricity generation.
The report also presents a case for why doing nothing is no longer an option. It says, Montserrat must choose between 2 energy futures. Currently, imported fossil fuels provide 99.4% of Montserrat's energy needs. Choosing a business-as-usual route, which would sustain and potentially even exacerbate our dependence, exposes us to the tremendous risk of oil and gas price fluctuations and shocks, possible supply disruptions, and rising greenhouse gas levels. Alternatively, the country can take a deep plunge into securing its energy future by investing heavily in renewable energy.
We're asking for the commercial interest not just to produce electricity for the domestic customer, but also to see if the entity that is interested in doing that have a business that will consume that power. So they'll generate power for their own internal manufacturing needs and also sell the remainder or some of it to the domestic customer here, and that way we hope that the price can come down. If it does not come down, then we now have an argument that we can make to our main funding partner, the UK, that we have done all these things, and you as the UK do have a global responsibility to deal with the climate issues that we are having. You have a responsibility to help make Montserrat sustainable as part of your overall moral obligations and societal and country obligations as a part of the global body. So with the argument, if it does not work out the way that we see it, then we will take that argument to the UK and other funding partners. This is the situation we are at. This is the amount of money that we need. What assistance can you give? If those doesn't work, then we'll have to move to other plans, because we are going to get this done.